You're listening to the Blizzard Community Podcast, produced by geeks, for geeks. Welcome to Geeks of Azeroth.
Hello, everybody. Good day, fellow geeks. Welcome to episode 180. Yeah, 180. Fun fact, that's the level we'll be in World of Warcraft in about 6 years. 180 of Geeks of Azeroth. My name's Tarly. With me, as always, we got Britza.
Hey.
And we've got Icarus.
Hello, hello. 2 in a row. New record.
Another week. Another week's worth of games played, I assume. But guys, what have we been up to? Britza, we'll start with you.
Yeah, games have been played. I'm kind of on a quest to finish Persona 5 because I want to pick up the new Spider-Man game, and I said I wouldn't buy it until I finish Persona 5. So that's my 80% of my gaming time. The other 20% has been actually messing about in Warfronts. In WoW. I don't know why I need to confirm it was WoW, because Warfronts aren't a thing anywhere else. But
I thought you were talking about the Diablo Warfronts.
They could be. They could be. Who knows? There might be Warfront style things coming to Diablo. Who knows? But no, actually, to be honest, I've finally just... Well, you know how you're kind of capped out of Warfronts? Well, I noticed one day that there was this portal to actually go to Arathi, and I thought, I might as well check this thing out. And then I got all these quests to do some stuff, and lo and behold, it seems actually doing some of those quests in Arathi when your faction controls the place, actually nets you a decent amount of gear. So, yeah, actually, it's kind of become my main way of just grinding through some of this stuff. The other thing is that I was going to say I started the Horde campaign. I logged in and did the opening cinematic, and then I had something to do. So I officially think I started the Horde campaign, but I haven't done anything meaningful. But I really want to get a Magar Orc hunter, I think, or a Magar Orc character. So I've got to start that train sooner or later.
I agree with that. I'm also on that train. Almost there.
Yeah, I'm not even left the station yet.
Hey, Chris, what about you? What have you been up to?
I've been playing a little bit of Horse a lot. I actually finally got above 300 item level weapon.
Ooh.
I was 342 before that moment, which was sad. And now I'm like 347. It was pretty awesome. Still can't get a shield though, which is the most important part of a tank. So it's like I can't do mythics above a 5 because I'm...
Which class are you playing?
A paladin. So it's...
you can't even use the artifact weapon one.
No, you might as well
just use the artifact weapon.
So I'm gated at 5s because my shield's made out of cardboard, but everything else is like steel.
Sweet.
Huh?
That's actually about it. Other than that, it's just been Fortnite every day, unfortunately.
That's a good alternative, to be honest, given how much fun me and Tarly had on it.
Yeah. And I haven't had a whole lot of time. Like, I think yesterday was my first time playing a game all week, and it felt good. Just played some Overwatch. Fun stuff. May end up unsubbing from WoW if things continue down the downward spiral that they are ever going. So on that, let's talk about the news. Here's some actually good news about World of Warcraft. The World of Warcraft that everybody wants to play. And that's not live World of Warcraft. That will be World of Warcraft Classic. Blizzard announced is the demo for WoW Classic. Not only will be playable at BlizzCon, but will be playable to anybody who has purchased the virtual ticket. So instead of us getting a cool mount or anything in World of Warcraft, you get a cape. Woo. And
Cape,
then you get
show
to play.
Your pride.
They should give rainbow capes.
I'm not sure about the banner. The banner seems so pointless. In the advert, they're like, "Why don't you use the banner to show your friends your allegiance?" Well, it's obvious you're the part of the effing Horde because you're red to the Alliance, and you're the enemy. So,
but Britta, here's the situation. There's some Alliance doing some quests. You and your Horde come up onto this awesome hill that's strategically placed. You place your banner in the ground, and they look up and go, "Whatever."
Log out. I don't see a point in it. Like, if it was a fun feature, like it did something special, that might be cool, but like you don't need it to show which faction you are. I think it's a bit late to play up the faction thingy now.
I think it just goes to show where the main development of the World of Warcraft team is. You've got a little bit of people working on live. The rest of them are working on classic, probably.
Yeah, maybe.
But so classic being playable with the fact that the opening ceremony, where all the announcements are, that's available for free to everyone. Does this make the virtual ticket worth $50, up from what was it, $30 previous years?
I don't honestly think so. It's just like a beta. Isn't the beta going to come to everybody in like a couple months anyways? Maybe 6
further down the road, but yeah, this is basically a 5-day long demo for $50. For $10 a day, you can play WoW Classic.
So, well, you only be able to play it until the 8th.
Yeah.
So it's not even the fact it's limited. I think you can't really bring it into the
and it's
price
only
too
going to
much.
have the starting zones for 2 races, and that's it. So it's a very, very limited access area of classic World of Warcraft. I just want to see Old Orgrimmar. That's all I want. I hope it's there.
I feel like what they're going to do is have like Durandar and probably like Elwyn Forest.
Elwyn Forest.
Yeah, just to show everybody that it's going to be the old style of questing, where it's like you're going to have about 14 to 15 quests in the starting zone, not like 8 or whatever the new one is. And you're going to walk out of there 4.5 unless you killed mobs to your objective and then back, and then you forgot something and you killed back that way, and then you come back a 4th time or 5th time. And
Or you can just spend all your time in the forest killing boars.
They give us 1 XP. Get the Hot Pockets, Mom.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm probably gonna get the virtual ticket because, gotta get
Is
that
it exclusive
skin.
to the
Yes,
virtual
yeah.
ticket?
You have to have the virtual ticket to play the demo. But all in all, it is just classic WoW. If that's justified for $50, if you're not going to watch BlizzCon or do the other stuff, maybe worth it just to see what classic WoW was going to be like. This sparked a conversation on YouTube. I was just watching a lot more YouTubers talking about WoW Classic. And one idea that someone put forward about it is, what if they take the classic RuneScape approach, how they've, that game is more popular than the normal build of RuneScape.
I play it.
And they've added stuff to the classic game. What if they have an entirely different arc of World of Warcraft where they then add new content to classic WoW?
That would be interesting, like redoing the approach to AQ and then adding on to it more and more rather than because the argument was that people are way better at the game now than they were in Classic, so people are going to clear through content a lot faster than they did back in the day. I mean, it'll take forever to level, of course, but once you have raid teams, just people know how to use their class kits way more than they did 14 years ago. So once we clear out all the content, are they going to just steadily roll out BC and Wrath? Are they just going to keep re-releasing the same raids over again? Or add new content to the classic game?
I would prefer it if they added fresh content, because I think the problem is I don't know how far, which expansions they've lost the code for as well.
Right.
But I feel like if they were to redesign Burning Crusade, it would take as long as it took to develop Burning Crusade, so it'd be years and years waiting for that to come out. And this feels like a long time, but it is vanilla after all. It is the main game, but yeah, why not? Why not do some? Well, I don't know. I don't want to play with the lore too much because I guess there is canon, but then WoW Classic is distinct, so I guess that would help to sell both to players. Like, here is WoW as it's supposed to be, with the established expansions and storyline and yada yada yada, and here is WoW Classic, a base game with add-ons that weren't in the original game that give you some sort of new spin on the story. Yeah, I'd be down for that.
Yeah,
totally.
and if you wanted to sell it to people who are concerned about lore, I mean, basically, you used the time dragon, you went back in time, and then you're just new universe now. Things can happen differently.
I have a tinfoil hat theory here.
Okay.
So bust them out if you got them. What if in the classic servers, hypothetically, we're doing the same situations that we did the first time around, but they turned out differently. So it's basically just a different timeline. So instead of when we go to Burning Crusade, not all the main characters are there because they died instead of other people or some weird stuff like that, just for example.
Yeah.
Like, Illidan isn't the final boss, it's Maev, because she took his place for some more reasons.
Yeah. Or instead of killing Ragnaros, we hold hands with Ragnaros and then we kill Malfurion instead.
That might be too close to the events of BFA.
But I mean, and the argument for this and adding stuff to Classic, I mean, because Classic and current WoW, they're inherently two completely different games. Like, modern WoW now just functions in like the current other games as a service model, or it's just a loot box model, instant gratification model. Old school WoW, very much so RPG, very rooted in being an MMORPG. Talent trees, weapon skills, all of that stuff. More of a sandbox than WoW is now. So inherently, it could be a completely different game if they add stuff to it. And it could arguably be more popular if done right than live.
Would you say that, in a way, it's necessary they add content? Because I've lost count of the number of anime that are about like top level gamers getting to the max level of a game and just getting bored. And I just wonder if the player base might just get bored if they know that once you hit 60 and once you get to, I'm trying to think what eye level was back then. I didn't even know eye level was a thing. It wasn't back then, I don't think.
I think you just had your gear and the level and the stats.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. So once you've got up to a certain gear, I don't know how you'd measure it. You'd obviously have to use some sort of website to check. Like, what's the point? What arguably is the motivation to keep playing? Obviously, you can level new characters and that, but if you're told there's nothing after this, there is no new expansion, there is no new patch, there is no new content.
Right.
What's the point?
Exactly.
After that?
So they'd have to keep supporting the game. Like, exactly as you say, once people finish, what was the last bit of content for Classic? AQ? Or was it? Yeah, it was AQ, wasn't it?
Something
Or was
like
it
that, yeah.
I think it was... Oh my god, it's all blurred together. That's why I thought it was like Nefarions.
Nath.
Yeah,
It was
I think
Nath.
Nath was tier 2?
I don't know. Whatever. Once people clear that final bit of content, like whether they gate it or they release it all at once, like, yeah, it's going to be a weird place, so it's going to be interesting to see. Yeah, Veranex in chat, just put goatees on all the lore characters a la Star Trek, like Evil Spock. Yes. Please do. And Kale, yeah, how long do you give the Classic servers until people cry out for more modern quality of life changes like Dungeon Finder? I really hope they don't put Dungeon Finder in there. At the most, like, put BattleNet, just integrate BattleNet, and even that's a stretch.
I feel like
don't put Dungeon Finder, please, Blizzard. Don't.
They should do how the old Dungeon Finder was. I don't remember which expansion it was in. So you just like queued yourself in, and the party or the group leader would just pull off the list instead of you looking for groups.
But that's version 2. The original group finder was trade chat, and always has been trade chat.
It was Barons. I've actually found groups for like level 40 dungeons in Barons chat just because that's where the majority of people would sit.
But so, and also on the note of the longevity issue, like, there's still a ton of people, literally thousands of people who still play on illegal servers right now. Obviously, they find something to do. They have an enjoyment of it. So there's got to be something to that.
And I guess that's probably where, if they were to add content, that's where they would focus it on. So it would be community events, social events. But I can imagine if they had a whole like a patch, or maybe like a sort of event, mini event, a bit like the Invasion or pre-patch event sort of thing, like centered around Barons conflicts and things like that. That'd be a cool thing, or maybe around certain raids. We've always talked about that in previous shows. So yeah, I think there'd be some cool stuff there that they could add.
So an idea for thought is kind of going back to how OSRS operates, is like they strictly operate on a poll system that they give to the community. So next to your mailbox, they could throw like a little poll stand that you could also, take polls on what you want to see implemented into the game and complaints and stuff like that. And then Blizzard could just have, a department that just looks at these polls and would then ask questions on so and so, and then they would kind of shape classic WoW to how the community wants, since it basically the only people playing it is the people who want the experience of playing classic WoW.
That's a good idea.
Well, let us know, chat, what you think. Are you going to play the demo? I'm definitely going to play the demo. I don't know. Are you guys going to get the virtual ticket?
Hard pass.
I will get it, but I'm not getting it for the demo. I'd like to play the demo, but I did that. I did that like 10 years, 12 years ago. So I don't think I'm as nostalgic as probably other people.
Personally,
I might be getting it for something else that we're about to talk about.
Right. So, yes, more on BlizzCon. So, there's a company, you may have heard of them. They're a small little trading investment company. Have a big corner block on Wall Street. Goldman Sachs. Yeah, they're pretty big. Goldman Sachs is predicting that they're predicting a few things to be announced at BlizzCon this year. One of them, they said Diablo 4. Yeah, we're all expecting that. They predicted Blizzard's new mobile game, which will either be Diablo or Warcraft related. Diablo 2, we'll see. More importantly, though, they threw out a prediction that there's going to be an Overwatch expansion. What does that mean? Is that possible? I would like to think so. Overwatch has been around for a while now.
I almost feel like they would do some sort of like big cutscene like they did when they first released Overwatch to introduce some sort of kind of like story that is shoved aside to be forgotten in 2 weeks after it's released. And it kind of kills off some of the characters and introduce new characters to kind of refresh it, which keeps some of the later introduced heroes in the story, because it'd be weird to add Wrecking Ball and then take them out like 6 months later.
I'd be okay with that.
I would.
I knew you were going to say that. I knew it.
Fun fact, I played him for the first time the other day. I had the funnest I've ever had, but I was the least productive player on my team.
Just rolling around.
Yeah,
You don't play Wrecking Ball to win. You play it to have fun.
Right.
You find something, you spin forever, and then you fling yourself, and you're like, I'm the best. But I feel like they'll do some big event that would change how Overwatch is played, so like... Yeah. Remove a lot of it while adding some to supplement it, because I think players are getting bored of the same stuff, but I also don't play that much to have an actual opinion on the matter.
Yeah, it's a weird thing, because with it being such an esport focused game, how do you like drastically change how the game is played, like do it Overwatch 2 or something like that? But the idea of killing off characters for an expansion event is actually interesting, because I would dramatically shake up the meta if just certain characters, they no longer exist. That would make people very upset, like people who, like if you killed someone's main, like
Tracer. You kill Tracer,
Yeah.
the game dies.
Yeah, well, yeah, I'd quit right
But
there.
couldn't you treat characters in a similar vein to how Hearthstone cards are? So you have, I'm not 100% on my Hearthstone terminology, but you have the official ranked characters that are that are permitted for ranked, and you allow their story to where some get killed off or sent on other missions, or their stories sort of come to a temporary end, and so they're not allowed in ranked. But then you have this sort of wild format where, screw it, you can have any one of the 120 million characters we've created in Overwatch's history. So there's a lot, and I guess that's kind of what your point is, Icarus, where if they restrict the pool like they do with Hearthstone, and I think Heroes of the Storm would benefit from this a little bit, you can at least manage the balancing a little bit better, because otherwise you've got to do what Hearthstone's Heroes of the Storm's doing, which is rebalance some of the earliest heroes again. And eventually your whole team will be focusing on rebalancing rather than developing. But I don't know if that works for Overwatch, as you say, Tali. I think people will be annoyed if suddenly Tracer got moved to, can't be used in ranked for some reason.
Yeah. Yeah, go on, Nicholas.
I was like, I just had a thought while he was talking. I was like, what if instead of killing people, they dramatically change maps? Like, so say if not Lunar Base, Dorado, because for some reason I have a weird hatred for that map. Just so after the first checkpoint where it does the U-shaped, how about that just gets obliterated by some sort of event that's part of the Overwatch 2 expansion, so the payload has to divert a different way. So it it's essentially the same maps, just expanded.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'd like to see that, and another idea for an expansion. Like they could, I mean, they haven't done anything like this since like the game was in beta, but they could release like more than one hero at once. Like when the game was in beta and then BlizzCon came around, they announced Mei, D.Va, and Genji at once and released them all into the game then the following week. Now that was beta, but that if they did something like that, had multiple heroes, that could be expansion worthy. And then also, well, I don't know if that'd be expansion worthy, because when they talk about an expansion, that almost makes it sound like you have to pay for it, right? Like it's not going to be a free addition to the game, and adding heroes behind a paywall probably wouldn't make sense.
That would limit competitive play really bad. You'd have to either pay for the expansion or be crippled during it.
Right. But they could. I'd like to see just a full out either single player or co-op mode, like actual story missions, something beyond the standard multiplayer. That's what I want from an Overwatch expansion.
I think it would be really hard to implement like how the heroes function and all that into like a first person shooter story mode game, because think about the last game like that you actually played that was good. I think like James Bond and Perfect Dark are coming to mind, but those are like old Nintendo games. And
GoldenEye, please.
Well, maybe even make it so you don't play as one of the heroes. You make your own character, and then they're just the Overwatch heroes are supportive characters.
Oh, that'd be interesting. Like you could build your own character.
Yeah, I mean, because there's good story based shooters. It's not like that doesn't exist, right?
So the story references the Overwatch archives and those mini stories, and we've talked loads of times about how that content, we want to see more of that, because Jeff Kaplan's been going on and on and on about developing the story for a while now. Now, Goldman Sachs, I think, is making this comment. Its interest in Blizzard is for investors, because it wants to talk about stuff that is going to make investors money. So I think whatever expansion they're envisioning would have to be paid for. Right. And simply because it's on my mind, and maybe because of this exact reason, it might not be a good idea. But obviously Telltale collapsed last week. Yeah. But what would you pay for an episodic set of archives? So say there were 5 stories that you paid for. Again, forget the Telltale connotations and the fact that didn't work out. If you had 5 different archives that you paid for, would you pay for those up front?
Yeah. I'd want them to be decent in length too, like an hour to 2 hour long, not just like the 10-minute run through gauntlet that previously existed. But yeah, if they were episodic chunks of decent storytelling, and then you unlock skins and stuff from completing them, yeah, absolutely, I'd pay for it.
I can almost imagine how they would do it. They'd have like a bit of story and stuff like that, and then situation happens, and then you'd go through the character playing as them, like, I don't know, shooting random robots, I guess, because that's their common enemy, and then just yeah, that'd be kind of cool. I'd pay for that.
And you could
put in-game cutscenes and stuff, like
exactly, and you can break it into chapters. So, like, say there's an hour and a half story. Every half an hour, you get a chapter. In that way, if someone leaves, you can bring a new player in to replace them, or maybe people can drop out without getting penalized. So,
and I know Blizzard doesn't like this, but let it be possible solo. Come on. Some of us don't like playing games with randos.
I think, I don't know why, but when you said it'd be like it tying with the cutscenes, I immediately thought of Soldier 76's and how he's just running through the streets of Dorado. That would be super fun to play.
Yeah.
We're so close to like Overwatch Left 4 Dead, aren't we?
Yeah.
That's basically what we want, isn't it? And Left 4 Dead is awful when you play with randos, but when you play with friends, it's brilliant.
Yeah.
Hashtag bring back Titan.
Bring back Titan. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that was a thing. I don't know. Maybe, I mean, could just be a rumor too. It could mean absolutely nothing. But yeah, the idea of an Overwatch expansion, it's kind of vague. I'd like to hear more. BlizzCon is a little over a month away. Wow. And still, sad face, we're not going to be there. Damn it.
Did you want to talk about the mobile title at all? Was there any comments you had on?
Well, so what they're developing for the mobile title, so the Goldman Sachs mentioned that it'd be World of Warcraft or Diablo related. I doubt it would be Warcraft related because they've already got Hearthstone as a Warcraft mobile game. I could definitely see, because people have been talking about Diablo 2 remaster forever. How good of a mobile game would Diablo 2 be? I mean, seriously, that would be an awesome phone game.
StarCraft 1.
I totally, personally. That's what I think it could be. The new mobile game could be Diablo 2 remaster, or even Warcraft 3 potentially. But yeah, it's been confirmed by many sources that there is a new mobile game in development. We have no idea what it is, but Goldman Sachs seems to think Diablo or Warcraft.
So I wonder if they're going to do a style like a Winter Mall Wars, or like, I guess that's Clash of Clans would be a more common reference point type of style game. Like if that was a mobile game, like with Warcraft and stuff like that, that'd be quite interesting to see, because those games used to get really competitive.
Yeah.
Just checking, Diablo 3 on the Switch comes out the first day of BlizzCon or the day before?
First day of BlizzCon.
Right. How cool would this be? So, in all the Diablo... So, what if BlizzCon, they announced the mobile platform, as you say, Tali, is Diablo 2 Remastered, and they do it, it's live right now from the opening ceremony, and all of you who got the Nintendo Switches will find a code inside for you to be able to download it onto your Switch as well.
Oh, yeah. That'd be cool.
Because why else would they let it go out on the
Switch
same day?
Yeah.
Why would they? Because that's going to just... Okay, complete tinfoil hat, but still.
Yeah, it is interesting. I mean, that they're releasing it the same day. Like, maybe everybody who attends BlizzCon will get a copy of it, or they'll just tell everybody who's at BlizzCon with a Switch to run to Best Buy real quick. I don't know.
You digitally download it. Use the Wi-Fi.
Yeah, but your Switch has such little space. Unless you buy an SD card.
I have 2 games on mine. I wouldn't know.
It's probably maxed it out, hasn't it?
Probably. I just haven't looked. Haven't tried that third yet.
Tali, I think you sold it to me. I think I'm hovering over it now.
Yeah. Let's make a pizza bet for the next year BlizzCon. If I'm right, I'll buy you buy the pizza.
I can't believe you're not going this year, because the number of people who have offered me tickets, and I was like, no, I will go when the Geek Squad is there, and that's when I'll go.
The Geek Squad.
Our squad. Yes. Well, actually, to be honest, Drakas and a few others are going. So, yeah, we've got a UK contingent. Anyways, I'm sidetracking.
Next year we'll be there for sure.
Next year. Pizza bet.
We'll see. Well, I could totally be wrong. It could be... I don't know, a completely new IP on mobile, but I think that's very unlikely.
You know what I kind of hope they do? When they come out to announce all the Diablo things, he's like on his phone playing, and he's just like, oh yeah, guys, Diablo's available on the phone.
Of course, and I know how it's going to go down too. It's going to be available for all iPhone users today, coming later. That's exactly what they did with Hearthstone.
And Mike Morhaime will sound so excited that it's only on iOS. He's got this sort of childish joy about things that clearly shouldn't be right. Bless him.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to BlizzCon. How many of you have been here for the first time?
That's my best Mike Morhaime.
It's close.
Let's talk about WoW stuff. Because... That's all there is ever to talk about these days. New Night Elf customizations kind of got data mined out of nowhere. This is a little strange, but apparently there's going to be a new story arc involving Night Elves in patch 8.1, and by doing it and completing it, you get new creepy-looking customization options for the Night Elves, where they look very angry and their eyes are black. me see if I can find a way to present this.
I don't recall if their hair could be black prior to this. Could it?
I don't think it could. Not this
No,
shade
I don't
anyway.
think. No.
Yeah. See,
Probably, I think it was a very dark blue option, but not black.
yeah, this looks almost black, so I think you get the hair color too. Super emo.
Right. Where?
So
Sorry.
this is all tied to the Ascension quests. Tyranda's Ascension. She's basically becoming Batman or Bat Elf. Alune.
Right.
The religious stuff behind Alune is that she has a peaceful side and she has a Batman side and like an evil vengeance side, and Tyrande, because obviously some things kind of affected the Night Elves that made them a little bit aggressive. She's kind of going full Bat Elf, and she's going to go and beat stuff up. So I like it because it's showing progression with the races on a race level. But how many people will go for it, I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah, it's just interesting that just out of nowhere they're adding a completely new customization option to a race. I'd like to see what more they do as time goes on.
Yeah, I think that gives Blizzard a lot of leeway to do that with other things down the line. Kind of like if Orcs got released prior to Gul'dan, giving them the Fellblood, that could have been a add-on, for example.
Right. I don't know. Let us know what you think. I like the dark Night Elves. Dark-eyed Night Elves. There you go.
I would love to see how much money Blizz makes at the end of the year just through race changes, because a number of people who have like swapped probably to Void Elf because they're like, oh, I want a really dark feeling elf, and then they've seen this and they're like, oh, for God's sake.
Damn, you're right.
Wait, can you turn Demon Hunter's eyes black?
Ooh, probably.
Ooh.
Would they be black glowing green? Because they glow, but the eyes themselves would be black. Think about that.
Well, this is going to be a customization option, so I guess there would be an option for you to have you without the blindfold.
Yeah, can't you turn off
black eyes?
You can turn off the glow, can't you?
I don't think so. I think you can just put eye wraps over it so you don't see it.
There is an option without it where you have without the blindfold and the glowing eyes, but if you're right, Icarus, then presumably they'll add an option for you to have the dark eyes as well. What's more powerful? Is it Alune or the demon within you?
I was kind of going for that with the joke, but you guys thought a little...
No, it's a good point. It's a good point. Because there's going to be like some really weird demon hunters going around now. Because the whole point of Demon Hunter Glowy Eyes is that they got a demon inside them, or just, demons inside them. So, it's going to get a bit crowded.
I just I want more customization, more. They released the Boomkin form, or it was data mined from 8.1 for the Kultiran human druids. I don't have that in the notes here, so I can't show you guys the link, but it exists and it looks really hilarious.
Let's give it the old Google.
Yeah,
it's like a skeletal. Well, it's just a skeletal.
It's like a skeletal, like a moonkin made of trees is basically what it looks like. And yeah, I recommend looking it up because it's kind of hilarious. Try to find it. There's also the new aquatic form for the Zandalari troll druids, which is a like croc dinosaur looking thing.
Yeah, some sort of like it was a dinosaur or something like that, which is pretty cool. The druids are getting all the love at the moment.
Yes,
the allied race druids are getting all the love right now.
Yep. There is our server, Worm Rest Accord, actually made headlines, at least on Icy Veins this week, because just this last week, the Realm First Mythic Kil'jaeden was killed. Last expansion's Mythic Kil'jaeden was killed for the first time on our server this week.
Oh, yeah, that's an achievement. That's an achievement.
Go. Yeah, definitely. Go Worm Rest Accord. Go RPers. Hello, Celionar. Sorry if I mess up your name.
Celionar.
Thanks for tuning in to the stream. What else? It's kind of a slow news week. Lots of people getting angry, upset at Blizzard still because Blizzard continues to act like they're ignoring player feedback altogether. So they did announce some class tuning for 8.1, which it's kind of just a weird blanket damage buff for some classes that aren't doing enough damage. So Unholy DK, all damage, including pets, increased by 4%. Feral Druid, all damage increased by 4%. Fire Mage, all damage increased by 5%.
Yeah, it's hard hammer, isn't it? They're not.
And which, like, is very upsetting to see. I don't play a shaman, but just knowing how upset the shaman community is, and then Blizzard's just like, okay, yeah, blanket buff. Here you go. Does this fix?
It's a Band-Aid to the situation, but I mean, I'll take a Band-Aid. That's 5%.
Yeah.
Is it particular spec shaman, or is it just shaman in general?
So
15% for elemental, 5% for enhancement, and 4% for resto. They just blanket buffed everything.
Oh, I mean just the aggravation. Are they all shaman just pissed off? Or
Yeah.
I think it's just all specs in general. It's in my opinion, we got broke somewhere in the expansion line, and it just never got fixed. And they're kind of just like, here's another Band-Aid and another Band-Aid, and now we have just like a stack of Band-Aids, and we're like, this isn't fixing the problem.
You really put meaning to the words a Band-Aid spec. That's what you guys are.
But you'll have a good faction banner come BlizzCon.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
Remember that.
Yes, and a cool cloak.
And a
You
cool
can't
cloak.
forget the cloak.
I'll instill.
Isn't sorry, Chris, go
I
on.
was like, I'll instill fear in the enemies with my cloak.
And your 50% damage bonus to one ability.
Yeah.
What was I going to say? The reforging. Did that get chucked this week, or was that last week?
They chuck it. You can't
I
reforge anymore.
I'm seeing I saw an update on Twitter today or yesterday that reforging is just getting banned, or they're getting rid of it because Blizzard feels like the mentality behind it, again, completely unconfirmed, so maybe they didn't say this, but it seems like they're saying, well, when you get a new piece of gear, you now need to go to a site to check what the best items are and all that sort of thing, and reforge your gear accordingly, and then you equip it. And they say, well, actually, we just want you to equip the stuff. We want to remove that barrier to all the external websites. So instead, we're just going to get rid of reforging, and you can just equip the gear right away, knowing that's the best it can be. I realize it's a big hole to that statement, but it looks like they're getting rid of reforging, because whether that's their surgery with a hammer approach to artifact power. Not artifact power. What am I thinking of? Azerite armor. Yeah, too many AAs. But I think it's going by the looks of it.
Interesting. Yeah, Blizzard, basically their stance right now is, this is the system, this is how we want it, deal with it.
Yay.
How long is this going to keep going? I even, and I know I've talked to you guys about this, I find it so weird that the Warcraft Twitter is posting stuff from Bellular, and fair play to all his comments, but the fact that if any new player goes, oh, actually, that sounds like a really cool feature, they click through to his Twitter and just find a barrage of criticism, or critique, I'll say. It is balanced and it's fair.
Right.
And, he's getting in a debate with Taliesin like every other day about these features. It just seems like even the creme de la creme of Warcraft content creators just cannot abide by this content. Even Taliesin's not pro it. He accepts there are things that can improve, and he's not completely against it, but even he's having a hard time against the crowd. So
Right. Yeah. I feel like Blizzard's bubble will burst eventually, because I don't know, there's always been that, people yelling on the forums and people upset at Blizzard for this, that, and the other thing, but I don't know, the community seems pretty commonly united against the whole Azerite system as it stands right now. If you just go to the WoW subreddit, it's nothing but hate on the Azerite system as it stands. So we'll see if Blizzard just keeps holding on to what they want it to be, or if they buckle to the community. It's all up in the air, I guess.
Think needs to fix it? I know we're not the developers, but
Right.
generally, what do you both want to see Blizzard do? If you could just go in and point fingers and make it happen, what would you want to see?
They need some sort of catch up feature for AA like immediately, because I've noticed issues where people are gearing faster than they get the levels, so they're getting good pieces of gear that they can't equip because they don't have any of the traits unlocked, and you're like, do I take 40 stamina or Azerite traits? Well, I'm going to take the traits every time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and just better traits, more traits, more interesting traits, and just, I don't know, make them less of a carrot at the end of a very long stick to obtain.
So if we were getting the resource quicker, as you say, Icarus, and there was just more variety, then maybe this is just still a bit of a bare bones system. I guess that's kind of what we're saying at the moment, which is a bit odd, given it was the main feature of the expansion.
Right. It's just it's a weird system in general. The fact that they took away tier bonuses and no more legendaries and stuff like that, and it's replaced with this system that is incredibly unbalanced as it stands. It's very weird, and it's kind of like, again, back to the first conversation we had. It's like why classic WoW I find appealing, because it's just everything is what you need is just very straightforward, and how to get it, and it just takes time, and that you know what you're getting, you know what you're grinding for. Everything with this random traits and just bullshit stats is kind of annoying.
I think I came up with a solution that they could potentially do. I noticed that the inner rings are more utility oriented rather than the outer rings. Those inner rings, or that centerpiece, should be what old set bonus used to be. Like when you get your helmet max out, then boom, every time you throw a lava burst, your flame shot gets 2 more seconds added onto it, or something weird like that. Something that's like, it's small, but it's still impactful. So it's not like the pieces of gear make a big difference and you run out of like options for what pieces of gear do. I swear to God, if one of them is breathe underwater, I'm going to lose my shit.
Well, that might come in handy come the next patch.
I don't know. Even add just like, I don't know, this piece of Azerite gear gives you, I don't know,
bonus rep.
Yellow feathers that pop off your back when you do crit damage. I don't know. Just make them more interesting or something. Or make every piece of gear an Azerite piece. I don't know.
I wouldn't go that far. That'd be rough.
I stand with the community in saying is, we don't know what the fix is, but fix it.
Do it.
Yeah. So a little bit crunched for time this week's episode. So, do we have any closing remarks before we go to 20 questions on the whole debacle of the Azerite system?
I would say, I think Blizzard, although it doesn't seem like they're paying attention a lot of the time, I do think they are getting the message. I don't know whether it's because they're freaking out by the amount of criticism, or God forbid, probably what the sub numbers are doing a little bit right now. I think they are going to act in a big way, and in a way, I think this kind of blanket fix is a stalling method, because they must be working on something else that's a bit more fine-tuned. So I'm optimistic.
That's good. What about you, Chris? Any last words?
No, not really. I kind of said my bit. I want more traits. That's about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ian, if you're listening, do what Icarus said.
Like moving and casting for shamans.
Oh, now you're just getting greedy.
That was a good moment in shaman history. Mechanics would happen, we would move out of them, and we'd still get able to cast.
Yeah, you know what? Let me channel Soothing Mist while running again. Blizzard, come on! That was the best part of playing a Mistweaver. Damn it!
Well, okay. What if we all just get that mount from Drenor, which allowed us to do everything while mounted?
Sky Golem.
There we go. Problem solved.
Every class gets it.
Thing. Let's do the Fortnite thing where we're all riding around on some, I don't know, pinata. I haven't played Fortnite. I just seen things on Reddit about what they've been adding, and it looks ridiculous. Add all that stuff to WoW too.
You know those Halloween costumes where like your upper body is the upper body of like a cowboy, and it's inflatable? It's that, but a llama. It's kind of hilarious.
So add that to WoW, but it gives you move and casting. All right, without further ado,
be a cool mount just in general.
Yeah.
And you just run really quickly.
It's time for 20 questions.
Geeks of Azeroth, the moment has arrived. Have you studied the lore?
studied the lore. I am the lore.
It's time for Blizzard 20 questions.
That's right, it's time for Blizzard 20 questions. It looks like Icarus has the answer again. I'm terrified. Let's see if we can get it. I guess we'll start. Is it from World of Warcraft?
Yes.
Okay.
Is it a character from World of Warcraft?
It is a character from World of Warcraft.
All right.
You guys are on a roll.
We're in the money now. We're on the money now.
Let's
just guess wildly.
Is this character bigger than a bread box?
Yep, they are bigger than a bread box.
I'm starting to wonder if like a bread box in the US is different to what it is in the UK, because we use that so often. I'm not sure what qualifies as smaller than a bread box most of the time.
A gnome.
Does this character wear a hat?
No.
No hat.
Actually, that removes a heck of a lot of characters.
I know.
Jeez,
That,
wow.
That
Okay.
would have nailed down one of my other choices. I'm glad I went with this one.
Okay, is this character male?
No.
Okay.
So they're either female or non-binary.
I didn't realize that was an option. I guess an
You
int.
can interpret some characters. Well, some characters in WoW you can interpret as non-binary, but that's
like
because, like
Yogg-Saron or something, right? Like
yeah, like what is an old god, really?
Men.
But
Okay, has this character been in the game, or was this character introduced to the game in Kata or after?
Yes.
Okay.
so
Female character introduced to the game Kata or later. Does this character have a relevant role in Battle for Azeroth?
Yes.
does this character belong to the Alliance?
No.
Same for the Horde.
State the question properly.
Does this character belong to the Horde?
No.
Okay.
Okay, so is this character... Do we fight this character?
Elaborate more.
Have we fought this character in the current, up to the current content patch?
Elaborate on what you mean by fighting.
By engaging in combat.
You do not engage in combat with this character, to the best of my knowledge.
Is this character Queen Ashara?
No.
Oh, I had that.
Damn it.
I thought I was going to look so cool then when I just nailed it. Oh. Okay.
Damn.
We don't fight this character. Oh, hang on, what did we agree that meant? Like, was that up to we don't fight this character?
You do
so
not
far?
engage in fisticuffs combat with the character.
Okay, is this character... Was this character introduced in Battle for Azeroth?
Yes.
Okay, so they haven't been in anything else new to BFA.
Damn it, that's...
Right, so
I was hoping
Oh,
you'd
is this
waste
char-
questions on that.
Is this character in an instance?
You gotta elaborate on instance, because there are questing instances, there are dungeon instances. That's a
okay.
very general thing that could be a rabbit hole, because there are also questing instances where you get zoned out.
Is this character in a dungeon or a raid instance?
I am gonna go with no, because I cannot find a log of her being in one.
Tali, I think this might be Ashvane. Something screams Ashvane. Yeah. Because how many female characters were introduced in BFA? Unless you're thinking
You gotta think of my
Talia appears in a dungeon because she's there. She appears.
I'm gonna reference you to my last choice of faux show knuckle bump, so it could be anyone.
Is this character considered hostile to the player?
Yes.
Like enemy? Okay. Hostile.
Okay. How many hostile women have we ran into in BFA?
All of
I
them.
thought they all loved us. Oh, actually, yeah, to be honest, they all hate us. But
It's
those
probably
we
going to
haven't.
be like upset Naga number 3. That's. Is this character found on Kultras?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Just
we're
very
now down a.
Hold on. Kultures is the island entirely, right?
The continent.
Yeah. Okay. So I am very new to Alliance shit.
It's a fun place to be.
Yeah,
It is.
the starting quests are fun.
Oh, you wait to the end quest. They're good. Do we want to now down a particular zone, or go on? You might have something.
Is this character in Justvar?
I'm gonna say no, but I'm not sure.
What?
You would know for sure if it was who I was thinking.
Should we ask the same for like Storm Song?
I don't know. We're really. Yeah.
Actually, Storm Song. There are no prominent women. I think I can't think of. What am I not thinking of?
Tierguard Sound?
Tierguard Sound. We could have a stab at that. There's a little bit more going on.
Tierguard Sound?
That's the bottom right one, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank God that Storm Song's such a sausage fest, because otherwise that would have been a wasted question. We could argue, try and narrow it down to Borealis, maybe.
Is that your question?
Well, it's 18 sugar.
There'd be a lot of outposts.
Yeah, there's a lot. If it's in Borealis, I think we're screwed. So I'd rather not know.
There's that one. I don't know. We don't fight this character. Enemy
considered
character.
hostile.
All right, okay, hold on.
Yeah.
I want everyone to just take a moment. I'm gonna Google something. Hold on.
I can't think of anyone, Tarly.
I know. Tierguard Sound lady. Who we don't fight.
Not an instance, so that takes out a huge part of that.
No. Clarify. Not in a dungeon.
Not in a dungeon, but a raid. Could be a raid.
No, because there's no raid in Tierguard Sound.
Hold on. I'm also fact checking a lot of this because I didn't think some of these questions would be asked.
That's cool. As a side note, I think Mr. GM has found a raid portal on the PTR in Borealis, so that's an interesting little tidbit there. So there could be a raid in Heroes Guards coming soon. Who knows? But not Horde, not Alliance. I don't think we haven't really paid attention to that. So what faction
Is this character a human?
Yes.
Right,
You got a lady who's out in the open who does not belong to a faction, who is an important
Sound.
female role in Tear-Scarred Sound. Who's not a Naga.
Give me that one for free. I've got to bring up a map of Tierguard. I've not got a clue how anything looks. So, could it be... I'm just trying to think around now.
I think I may have pickled myself with false information, but I've double checked everything, and I'm 90% sure I haven't given you any false information. But I feel like you may contest some of this, Ritza.
I haven't leveled through Tierguard Sound or quested through there yet, so I don't.
See, I'm not all the way through the end, but I've also run all the dungeons a million times on horse, so I'm like, I'm pretty sure I haven't seen her around.
I'm pretty sure, actually, if you were to have a logical guess at all these questions, we could say it was Jaina. I know it's not, but Jaina fits the bill perfectly there.
Is that your question?
No, No, she's not hostile.
And
the
Jaina
moment.
wasn't introduced to the game this expansion, so
Yeah.
it couldn't be Jaina. It could be Kalia, the one chick who is Bolvar's.
But she doesn't. She's not hostile to us. Oh, Kalia.
There's Talia Menethil,
undead.
though, and then there's.
Okay, I think we need to have another definition moment of hostile. This character does not like you and would attack you. That doesn't mean they are particularly labeled as hostile in the game. That makes sense. In lore, they are hostile. In the game, they may not necessarily be hostile. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Okay. So, okay.
Because there's cutscenes where, like, Arthas appears that he's not technically
Right.
hostile.
Could be Jaina's mom?
Did I said it was Ashvane. Did we shoot that one down?
That was not a question.
That was not a question. I can only think Ashvane.
Is this character the mother to another important character?
Ooh, I gotta check the wiki for that.
Well, okay, well, if it was Lady Ashvane, that'd be...
Does Ashvane... silly question on my part. Who is Ashvane's kid?
Didn't know she had a kid.
Priscilla Ashvane. Relatives. You've only got Lord Ashvane. You haven't got any kids.
So what was your question again?
I thought Lady... Oh, never mind. I was confused.
You're thinking of Drusvar family. You're thinking of... what's their face?
Yeah,
No, I was thinking Lady Ashvane was Jaina's mom.
Okay, you still haven't...
Jaina Ashvane.
you haven't said your question. What was the question?
Should we just ask if it's Ashvane up front?
Is it Priscilla Ashvane?
Yes, it is Priscilla Ashvane. you like guessed it on 8, and I was just like, well, shit, this was quick. I better deter them by saying it could be anybody.
I thought that was. I was like, that's clearly a delaying tactic, but no.
See, I haven't quested long enough into it to know if she's like elsewhere in the questing experience, because I haven't been to Drustvar or Stormsong or the Alliance.
You're bang on. She doesn't appear in any. I won't say what happens to her, but she's only, to my knowledge, Tirisgard.
And it's like, I don't think you fight her at the end, because I'm also not there, which is why I wasn't completely sure. I also Googled, but there was no fight that I could find, so she just kind of hates you and then gets, I'm assuming, kicked off the throne. Or depowered. Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, that about does it for this week's episode of Geeks of Azeroth. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. As always, you can find us on iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, Google Play, right here at twitch.tv/Geeks of Azeroth. You can also follow us on Twitter at Geeks of Azeroth. Britza, where can we find you?
You can find me at Britzer_EG.
And Icarus, where can we find you?
At the moment, you can find me at Twitch/Icarian_Night.
And you can find me at Epic Geeks Tarly on Twitter. And you can always contact the show, geeksofazerotheg@gmail.com. Just send all your fan mail, hate mail. Let us know what you think of our new co-host. Otherwise, we'll see you guys the same time, same place next week. Have a good one. Bye-bye.
Bye.